So we'll see if he goes to Ho-Yi one more time, and if Soul is what CycloneSpin will opt for as we hit picks and bans for game number 2. EnVy again with the first pick.
Luminosity taking a very key win against the top tier EnVy here.
Yep.
Ice is going to be banned away once again, as it looks like the teams are going to be on the same sides. EnVy electing to take that first pick. Luminosity looking for the counter pick in order side.
We'll see if the bans will be the same. I expect they will be relatively similar. Last time around, we didn't see too many target bans in round 1. We just saw bans of, well, gods that they don't want to deal with. Globals, Isises, no thank you. So,
I mean, if I'm Luminosity here, I'm running back the same thing. I'm going to take out Khepri. Now, the question is EnVy going to rely on this Soul once again?
No.
Do they feel like their composition was drafted and just played poorly? And I think their composition was good. I don't know necessarily if they played poorly, but they definitely didn't play to how they wanted to. And it's very hard, honestly, when you have these 3 hyper carries in Soul, Zeus, and Kali, and you only have a single backline to protect it in the Geb. Kiki, his shield has to be perfect every fight.
Right.
Because that is a 18-second cooldown if he doesn't have any CDR. While he did have a little bit, it's still something that if it is used at the wrong time, your team could simply lose the fight because andinster knows when to go in, and that's when that Geb shield is down. It will be the Soul. If I'm Luminosity, same thing. Ho-Yi. What was the next one? It wasn't Bacchus. That was the third one. I know what it is, and I'm going to tell you in 2 seconds.
It was Thor.
It was Thor. That was right.
Now, Soul,
Thor.
It will be Thor. Yeah, Luminosity, just run it back, no problem. I honestly just didn't like the Soul. I don't think that it really did the job that EnVy really wanted it to. I don't know, like you said, I don't know if that was just CycloneSpin didn't do what was expected or what he usually does on this character, but it just didn't strike me as impactful. Bellona going to be selected again for the solo lane, so EnVy might be thinking more what your mindset was. The comp was fine. Let's just try again better.
Zeus was the guy picked up here in the last time. Are we going to have the salty run back? Is EnVy confident in what they have, and that's what it appears to be. Now, the question is going to be the ban phase, right? There's no reason for Luminosity to pick anything different here.
Right.
Should be the Bacchus. Bacchus is honestly very good against Zeus and Soul. Very good against mages, right? You knock them up, and before they land, you can kill them. Very good against Kali as well.
Because other characters...
Are we seriously going to have the salty run back? Odin? Are we seriously going to have the salty run back?
Well, that's the thing with
Raijin ban?
Bacchus. Jeff played it very
no.
yeah. Raijin ban?
Oh, no. Envious. Luminosity here banned... It wasn't a support. I'm trying to recall. I wish I kind of had the last.
It was a jungler last time around, too. Banning phase. Last ban. Let's take a look. Wow. So they're giving thought this time. They're not just going robo side.
Sobek has transcended, and
Zeus
has
all
transcended.
Right. I mean, basically.
EnVy have just cheated. Luminosity have just cheated.
I wish we could blame you, Adanas, but you're actually out here,
Look at
so
this.
I know it's not your fault. But
what happened? All right, okay, all right. This is what's going to happen.
Different compositions. And
I don't know. I'm done.
All right, let's just reassess the compositions as
How about we just restart picks and bans? That's what I'm saying.
So Luminosity has 2 globals on the side of both Athena and Thor. And Chronos, we have talked about
Are the bans the same?
So
Hold on,
much.
Are the bans? I need to know if the bans are the same. No, they switched them. All right, okay. So let's go through this from the start.
Yeah, Athena and Thor will bring a lot of global presence to Luminosity, and Chronos is just super powerful. Taking a look at the side of EnVyUs, what do you see out of these first 3 picks?
I don't know. Are they going to change again? Are they going to change again?
They're correct. They're correct.
So it started with EnVy banning away the Isis, and instead they actually took a shot at BaRRaCCuDDa's Ho-Yi. They didn't really like it.
Right.
Very effective in the game. Obviously did a lot of damage as well as the shell pickup because he is so safe. It's going to be Giannis Khepri banned out on the other side. So the same bans from them. Soul going to be first picked once again.
I like
so
that.
EnVy very confident. And with the Ho-Yi ban, they're going to go Athena Thor instead. So the double global. Okay.
I really like the bans coming out from EnVyUs. Just, all right, Snoopy, you're right. You played Amaterasu very well. And we know you play Osiris. What else you got, bud? They just ban out the 2 gods that Snoopy has showed up on so far, and they want to see what else he has. EnVy going to go for the Fenrir and the Neith combo, which still doesn't tell us where Soul's going. Both of these characters can play mid or solo, but or Hunter, as I said.
Soul's going Hunter.
Exactly.
Neith's going mid.
Well, more importantly, Soul's going CycloneSpin. I think that there's less carry potential on Neith.
It's going to be tier, the last pick. Ullr also makes an appearance here into the SPL. I believe, based on the picks and bans, this is his first game?
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing him so far.
Ullr has not showed yet. He has been banned, but has not been picked.
Probably banned against that, man.
I believe so. And the choice of Ullr I really like, because Chronos is going to be your basic attacker, and we saw how ready players were to build anti-attack speed items, right? They were very ready to counter-build players. Now, Ullr is going to go an attack speed. He's going to build like a regular hunter, but Ullr is so much more. He is the definition of an ability-based hunter. So by bringing him along, the BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be able to swing out the basic attacks, and Ullr, well, do you actually want to buy a runic shield against this team? I don't know. We'll see.
Mast going red putt here, andinster as well. So the jungler is going to be starting with some bonus physical power once they pop that. Bellona Fenrir against tier Thor. Either could honestly look to invade. I think it would go in favor of Envy here, but they're going to elect to do their back harpies. I don't think we're going to see any team trying to make any mistakes with invades, especially Luminosity after their game 1 against Enemy the first week they played here.
Interesting skin choice coming out from Mask, honestly. This skin and the Christmas time Fenrir skin, which I absolutely love, are a little noisier. Masked footsteps are like double the volume of normal Fenrir footsteps. Do you think that's going to actually impact the game?
No, they're like barely. That like this skin is like very
so loud.
It's only loud to you though. It's actually not that big of a change when facing off against it. It's more the abilities that you hear coming at you instead of the footsteps. Fenrir, his footsteps are actually pretty quiet in conjunction with other junglers, even with this skin.
Yeah, it's the holiday sweater Fenrir that you can hear him jingling as he brutalizes in the jungle. So not
the only skin that I'm like, why are you picking is the Ragnarok Thor. Yeah, like
Verizio.
I don't know what you're doing. That thing is super loud.
Yeah. As we make it into the mid lane. So it's Neith in the mid lane as we anticipated, with Mask on the Fenrir. And the same old stuff from Luminosity, BaRRaCCuDDa on the Poseidon, or BaRRaCCuDDa on the Chronos rather, and Andy on the Thor. So
production messed up. Not you too, man. There's no Poseidon in this game. Mask and Stealth going to be doing these right-hand side high priest, and it's going to be a split over between these, as you can see Thor and Chronos going to be finishing that off. But Envy, honestly, they're going to be able to get lane advantage here. You can see that they had full control of wave 1, which means they'll have a dominant lane here as well. And the question is now, where does Mast go? There's nothing up, so he can either look to keep the pressure up here in mid or try and force a gank in the left-hand side, which is a possibility, considering BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla have control of that left-hand side against Kiki and Cyclone.
andinster will be able to follow very quickly. Omega doing the same thing that he did last time around. Push.
He's going to steal it this time, though. He's not going to drop it.
Exactly. There's no Scourge out, and he's full HP. He's just going to take
I believe he picked up the Fire Elementals as well. You can see about 100 gold lead, which is about a wave. Pretty good.
Tier this time around. If you guys watched the NASCL qualifiers that were on yesterday,
Chapo. Look at this. Mask.
Yeah. Oh, Mask on the other side.
Mask was looking for a gank, and I think they're actually going to keep setting up for it. But he's going to walk away.
Yeah, he needs
opportunity not there.
But as I was saying, Chapo took tier in the solo lane and played very aggressively. We'll see if Snoopy can...
Yeah, he also fed in lane.
We'll see if Snoopy goes really offensive or defense, but here, looking at the team that Luminosity has, I expect a full tank tier, without a doubt.
Omega going to get bullied for now, taking a lot of poke. And that's one of the things about tier. He does get pressured until he can hit level 3 where he can stand switch.
Right.
And he has a lot of options to heal up, but Snoopy had to burn through almost all of his potions. See Omega sitting here with 2 health and a multi. Snoopy only at 1 health still. Something very important that we don't talk about too much in the solo lane is kind of how often you use your potions. Your potions can either be used sparingly, or they could be used aggressively to kind of wrestle back lane control, and that's what Snoopy has been trying to do all game.
And again, those are the smaller things that we'll see Omega be able to pull out above his direct opponent Snoopy. There's a lot of poke is dealt to BaRRaCCuDDa. I love the way that Envy did this. They split the duo lane, and they split their own, right? Kiki decided to separate Athena so that Soul could just lay into the Ullr. There was no decision to attack Athena. There was nothing at all. It was just, Cyclone, I'm going to allow you to do work. I like that.
No real attempts at ganking here. We saw Mask take a trip over to the right-hand side, and now Envy, they've wrestled back control of this lane. They're going to be doing their boars, and The question is, who really wants to force the gank? And honestly, it could go either way because while you do have Andinster and JeffHindla to combine for the globals and really look to set up something, you also have the Neith ult that you have to be wary of. Fenrir also very powerful early, can burn a lot of purification. And you do see 4 purification on the side of Luminosity, so wanting to be very safe, including JeffHindla. JeffHindla, someone that teams have focused in the past, depending on no matter who he's playing. They really like to pick him off, and
well, I
really like this purification pickup from him.
Yeah, and it works out specifically for Jeff because, as you said, teams do like to focus him. It's a little bit of that and a little bit of this. Jeff also is all supports or initiators. Jeff always wants to go. There's very few times where you see Jeff play passively. So knowing that Jeff is going to be the hyper-aggressive initiator, well, buy some beats so you don't get yourself in trouble as often as you do.
Rotation coming in here. Oh, no, Andinster and Boost, they're just going to do the mid-heartbeats here. I think they're looking to farm up to late game once again. They have the Ullr, they have the Chronos. The tier also provides a lot of options. And there's a good amount of CC on their team, right? Not only do you have the tier Fearless, you have the stun coming out from Andinster. You have 2 stuns actually coming out from Andinster and his ult and Tectonic Rift. The BaRRaCCuDDa has Time Stop. Taunt coming out from Jeff. Single target stun coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa. A lot of options here.
A ton of them. And a much different story for Envy this time around. With Mask on that Fenrir, he needs to look for the earlier ganks. He sat in the jungle and just sort of farmed correctly on the Kali. Much different story. As you can see, he's wearing that red pot, and it's going to wear off very soon. So Mask definitely wants to get involved sooner rather than later. Is he able to do so? Well, he's tacked down to half HP from a single double tap. So
can we highlight Andinster here? I want to see if he's actually maxing double tap, because we see this depending on what your team wants to do. And the reason is Andinster, his entire gimmick right now is to constantly do exactly what we just saw. He's looking to stun someone and then double tap them. And what this does is it forces them either to use potions or it forces them to just take poke, and then they can't engage, right? If the enemy jungler or the enemy support is at half-life, they can't just jump in and initiate because they're going to get blown up no matter what. It also allows his team options to kind of just dive his opponents. He's not looking to take a direct fight. He just wants to poke you out, reset, and then look for the fight again when he has a health advantage.
Very interesting how the meta sort of shifts and exchanges. It used to be that Berserker's Barrage was heavily favored, but you can go either or.
Well, no, it depends completely on composition and what your game style is. I don't think the meta really dictates that. That's more of what do we want to do as a team.
Well,
okay, I'm Andinster. I don't want to all in. I want to poke because I have damage from the rest of my squad.
Neith gets taunted out, but we'll be fine. Yes, I do agree. And more importantly, it's about what the enemy has. Well, is there a silence that can get rid of my Berserker's Barrage? That's something you look at. But back when teams used to fight over the mid-Harpies so often, Berserker's Barrage was a great point to take because you were sitting there surrounded by everybody, boosting up your passive and dealing AoE damage. Now that we see the 3-man grouping and it's a sort of a 3v3 joust in the mid lane, that poke becomes so much more important. So before the default was Berserker's Barrage and will alter depending. Now I feel like the default is Mjolnir's Attunement and will alter depending. I feel, it's very interesting how that happens.
Neither team trying to force anything so far. Snoopy, slight XP disadvantage here in the Soul Lane, getting bullied by Omega, which we've seen most of the time. Oh, getting real bullied. He does have his teleport up, so he should be fine. Just going to finish off these minions and head back to lane. The question is, does he have enough gold to finish off Breastplate? Because he really doesn't want to back until he can, and I don't think he does because he's sticking around.
Omega's going to go ahead and go for the poke instead of the wave clear.
Exactly what he needs to do.
Fighting.
He's going to be able to clear this out anyway. He just wants to poke out Snoopy and force him back as early as he can. He has his Scourge. You can see he's leveling it up second, and this is just going to allow him to force Snoopy back in a position where he can't finish an item. And I think that's exactly what happened. You can see Breastplate is not online. Snoopy actually teleports to the tier 1 tower as his blue buff is about to spawn.
Nimian picked up one more time. A lot of physical protection on the side of Bellona. So again, going Nimian. We'll take a look at how Envy works out. 7 on the clock right now as both teams take a look at their jungles. Invade as Luminosity takes a look at Envy in their own jungle. Huge damage. Snoopy, first one on the board with the first blood. They're not done yet. Ultimate coming out from both Athena and the tier. Not going to catch up to Omega just yet, but there is a dash coming up in 5 seconds if he needs to stance switch, but opts not to, just looking at the wave. And then we'll go
now
aggressive.
the team going to be pressuring into this blue buff here. You can see Kiki will drop it, but the team actually can't even pick it up. Omega solo, you can see him sitting around just trying to get his wave. I don't think he's going to be able to get the blue buff if the team doesn't want him to. Snoopy going to be stealing away that boar as well, and a fantastic turnaround coming up from Luminosity. You can see Envy actually... Oh, no, he's baiting Snoopy.
He's been waiting the whole time. One hit, fearless, power cleave, stance switch.
Okay,
Can't
Snoopy.
find the other one.
Okay, Snoopy is not the tier master.
He's not the 2032.
He, that was... Yeah, Wolfie would have played that better. He missed every single auto attack cancel. He missed his dash. He just didn't press his buttons. That's all. He just didn't press his buttons how he was supposed to.
I mean, like we said, Snoopy newer to the solo role, so the mechanics will come eventually. Right now, it's not that time. Missing some of the crucial.
I don't know if that was a kill, but that would have been close. Gonna get stunned out here and dragged under tower. Lawbringer not available. Snoopy should be fine though. He's pretty tanky. Gonna be able to heal up. Mask burned his ult, and that's a 90-second cooldown that he's not gonna have. So another window for andinster to take control of this match. And andinster, he's gonna read it immediately. Gonna find the stun. Double tap just off the mark. Good purification from Mask, who's going to be forced back into his own jungle once again.
I think that was a dead Fenrir if those purification didn't come out. The double tap would have brought him down very low, Berserker's Barrage after the teleport likely would have finished the deal.
It would have been close. You can see Masked and the rest of Envy now on their back foot once again for the second game in a row. Down about 400 gold. Actually, that's not too bad at all. I would say the soul inners are even. The problem right now is just Masked. While he's even in gold, he's just been on the back foot.
Where was the Neith ult while Snoopy was fighting over there? I haven't seen the Neith ult all game.
I don't know.
Curious.
I guess he thought Omega was fine.
Because that's sort of the... Yeah.
It's probably Omega was fine, I would imagine.
Sure.
Although I do think it would have been a close kill.
Right.
If, he would have been able to combo it right.
It's just interesting. One of the benefits
Thor.
of...
Thor's in the air.
Oh,
Stealth's in trouble.
He wants to take this fight. He's going to land on stealth. Purification taken out immediately. And the Chronos stun not going to find a home. Kiki now trying to protect his team, but he can't protect everyone at once. MLC Stealth gets taken out by Tyr. And Athena tossed under the tower. Mask answers back.
Kiki gonna stay there, put some poke on. Needs to be a little bit careful. Rotation coming out from CycloneSpin. Supernova just to zone, it seems. Oh, but Kiki, he's actually gonna get stunned out. There it is. Time stop.
2 hits.
On the mark. BaRRaCCuDDa finds it. That's 2 more kills for Luminosity. They only drop Jeff. Completely worth in their mind. And Snoopy blinking into that tower. No fear coming out from him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Some would say he was fearless.
Definitely a strong look for Snoopy there. Man, you're on the mark today.
So is BaRRaCCuDDa finding that stun on Omega, chasing him back, and there's Mask trying to find Snoopy, who Lawbringer's over the wall.
Yeah, Snoopy, and it's like night and day watching Snoopy this week versus last week. I don't know how many hours you can practice in a single week, Kevin, but we're seeing it. Envy's going to answer by going directly
Jeff's
for a gold
here as well.
free.
Jeff might be able to get it. Luminosity, BaRRaCCuDDa!
BaRRaCCuDDa with the steal. Just a simple 1-3 combo coming out from the young Ullr. Envy does all the work, and BaRRa says,
Stealth.
mine.
Bye-bye, buddy. Snoopy, no Lawbringer. Should be able to close the gap, though. Jeff with the reach. Jeff with the second reach. Jeff with the third reach. Snoopy finds the kill.
Great work there from the support just to finish up that deal. Snoopy was not going to be able to catch up to MLC with the hair of HP.
Jeff wanted that kill so bad.
So badly.
He wanted the triple reach kill. He tried so hard. He literally taunted. So for those who don't know, he did not taunt thinking stealth was in range. He taunted to get that reach damage. The heal from stealth, just a little bit too healthy though. But he is finished up. Speaking of finished up, Kiki. Oh man, I almost thought that time stop hit him. Barely avoids it.
BaRRaCCuDDa really, I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa's mechanics and ability to really hit abilities is not a surprise. That's what he's always been known for, just as his competency on these characters. And playing on the Chronos, it's a character with so much carry potential, so much ability to really just wreck everyone that comes near him if you can hit the abilities similar to Ullr. And BaRRaCCuDDa and BaRRaCCuDDa can both do that, and they're piloting these two gods. That's a scary situation for Envy.
BaRRaCCuDDa also not going the typical build we're seeing, going Doom into boots. Sometimes you'll see a winged blade here in this third spot, but it looks like he's electing to go to the Polynomicon early. The question will be, is BaRRaCCuDDa going to go that winged blade in the 4th slot? There are a few slows coming out from Envy that he does have to worry about, but it's going to be Snoopy ganked, Lawbringer and Time Masked. Not going to be able to close this gap, but still chasing forward. Ultimate is going to be canceled and just takes a little bit of tower poke.
That's rough. Big woof on cooldown now from Mask. Twice We've seen Mask try to gank this right-hand solo lane, and there's just so much physical protection on tier with both the breastplate and building his second item in the cloak tree. Definitely an uphill battle for Fenrir and Omega
I mean,
Bellona.
the second that Spirit's Robe is finished as well,
Yeah.
you can see if Mask jumps in and finds the stun, that's going to be 15% flat damage reduction coming out from Snoopy, who's also has a heal in his kit. Tier is very hard to gank. Not only does he have multiple movement options, he has Lawbringer as well, just to completely displace him. And then he has a heal on a pretty low cooldown once he gets breastplate. It's disgusting.
I mean, honestly, what you honestly have to see in the solo lane if you want to gank is, I mean, the classic.
Lawbringer actually has to be down. If you're trying the double physical gank, Lawbringer has to be down.
Lawbringer has to be down, and you have to play it like Dignitas from last year. I mean, Variety and Frostiak, not going to be on the top of anybody's top players, but what they did excellently was Variety was always going to take a fight, bring somebody low, and Frostiak was able to get the kill. Like I said, it didn't really wind up
being... If he hit his stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a dice roll, though.
But I mean, that was a very important solo lane situation where it wasn't always about the jungler doing the damage and doing the gank. It was all about the individual fight, and then Frostiak would finish the deal. That's what you have to do if you're trying to kill a tier, because he's just so tanky. He's just so apt to get that healing, and the situation for Envy has not been successful.
Envy. Down about 2,000 gold, I think, after that stolen gold Fury. 1,500, so that's actually not too bad. Considering the fact that they're down 4 kills and a stolen gold Fury, they're hanging in pretty well, in my opinion. If that gold Fury had went in their favor, this would have been a much different story.
Sure.
They don't really have this late-game carry in Kali, Zeus, Sol this time, though. They have the Fenrir. He's going to give a lot of options when it comes to CC more than the Kali, but not going to just got to be able to blow someone else. Although Fenrir having many better options for stealth peel. Look at this, though.
See ya.
Sieging, and Snoopy to the backline finds the blink, and he's just zoning 2 out.
Yeah, you've got a Chronos and an Ullr with an attack speed buff. That tower is going to fall immediately. Damage coming out as Mask finds himself under tower, but he's holding somebody. And he'll be generally okay. Snoopy's in trouble, though. Finds himself low. If he can find a heal, he'll be fine. BaRRaCCuDDa launching the time stop from background. And MLC going to ult to get the stun. Mask will follow up. Not able to find it.
A lot of poke taken by Envy there, trying to return something, but they're going to lose their Tier 1 tower, not able to find anyone in response. And Snoopy, I mean, you just saw him in the backline, blinks in, zones 2, Lawbringers, gets picked up by Mast under a Tier 2 tower, still manages to make it out. Meanwhile, Andinster still has his ultimate the whole time. BaRRaCCuDDa had his ultimate up as well, for those who don't know. But honestly, just Snoopy is going to be so hard to deal with. 3-1 and 3-0-1. Didn't even have Spirit's Robe for that fight.
No.
If he did not even have Spirit's Robe. Can we actually take a look at Golden Hand? Because I'd imagine he has enough to finish it. It's 945, and he's got 1977.
Omega's doing this again. Different items this time around. Heavy Hammer built up, and a Tier 2 of Adventure. I believe that's Adventures.
No. Oh, man.
What's
that? Did you see that?
No.
So you know how BaRRaCCuDDa stole the Gold Fury?
Okay.
With the arrows?
And he got the double tap on the red buff?
Yeah. That's just... When you're already behind, that's just kind of like feels bad, man. That's just like
ultimate.
That's just, and you just saw the players just kind of stand there looking at the red buff like, I can't believe this happens. Look at this, the poke continues from Andinster. He didn't even have a ward there. No ward. He just knew exactly where Kiki was.
Andy with the 6th sense. But again, Heavy Hammer doesn't give a slow anymore. So this is exclusively for the efficiency of the stats. And he's going to go up, look for a target. Very alone is Kiki. Walled off. Here's the Berserker's Barrage and BaRRaCCuDDa with the damage. Can they finish off the support? The answer is no.
Forcing him to ult, though. Kiki's going to have to take a trip back to base. And there's Snoopy once again. Purification going to be used on the CycloneSpin, but it's going to be a Tier 1 tower uncontested. This is exactly what we saw from Game 1. Luminosity found a slight lead, and they just took tower after tower after tower.
And again, shouts to Snoopy. A lot of what's been able to happen here for Envy has been the power out of the solo lane, and that's kind of standard for Season 3, but just reflecting on the fact that he's new here and did not have a good showing in the opener, it makes this very exciting to me. Snoopy's able to drive the fight in the mid lane, get a tower. He's able to drive the fight in the left lane, get a tower. Now Omega, he's caught out a little bit, but he'll find his team, not a problem.
Trying to steal that red buff away. Was he successful? It doesn't look like he was.
Nope.
No. No one going to pick it up from the side of LG, though.
Gold Fury not really started.
I think he had to have stolen it.
Yeah, no,
it's still on the ground.
Yeah, nobody's picking up.
Okay, so red buff for red buff.
That's fair.
Omega's like, you steal mine, I'm going to steal yours.
BaRRaCCuDDa finds himself back in lane. 4-1 read the kills. We're 18 minutes into game number 2. 1990 on the gold charts.
Not a massive lead. EnVy still definitely in this one, but Luminosity has had the momentum all game. EnVy been on their back foot. They haven't been able to kind of cross the middle line. We haven't seen a single gank attempt from Mask outside of the attempt on Snoopy, although it was a one-on-one. And Snoopy just healed everything back up, but he was a couple levels ahead already.
Zoned out is Kiki by andinster. The rest of his team going to aggress onto the Gold Fury, which is already 50% down. Soul coming around from the backside. Keep your eye on CycloneSpin. Able to launch out the ultimate. That's going to release the Gold Fury, but it's going to get him into trouble. Sanctuary is down, and so is Cyclone.
Lag. andinster comes crashing down, and also still with the nice backflip.
Nice backflip.
Oh, and Omega caught out. Has Eagles rally, so he should be fine over the wall. The question is, will he get chased? Not going to happen. Actually, no. It's going to be Snoopy in the back line, but Kiki falls in the front. Not tanky at all.
Big Wolf used as well. MLC in some trouble. He'll backflip. Mask, no ultimate. There's a good slow from Snoopy. Still leading the charge. Fearless and Power Cleave. Wants to find the stand switch. Can't. But BaRRaCCuDDa from a distance. Time Rift. Time stop. MLC gets dropped. 7 kills in total for Luminosity. They'll take the fight. They'll
3
look
dead
at
on the side
tower.
of EnVy, and that wasn't even these weren't even fights. That was 3 4-on-1s. That was EnVy walking in one at a time, just getting poked out, and Luminosity just focusing the right targets. EnVy, I don't know what is going on, but CycloneSpin obviously going into the backline trying to steal it.
Crazy.
Doesn't have any options though. He just dies. Then we see Kiki walk for, or Omega walk for it. All of Luminosity target him. While he gets out, he's forced to ult away. He can't use that ult for his team. Kiki walks in. Kiki had boots, not even tank boots. He has traveler shoes. He has a winged blade and sovereignty. He has he has like no protections against these mages, and BaRRaCCuDDa just ripped him to shreds.
Able to just go for it. BaRRaCCuDDa is level 16, 2-0-4, and he's building into his penetration now. And that Polynomicon is very powerful, and it'll just continue to get more powerful. I like the Polynomicon because you just get to see, as the game goes later and later, how much more damage that next basic does as the game gets later and later, and more abilities or items get built onto the character.
Luminosity, now after that Gold Fury up, 4,000 golds, a little bit of experience as well. You can see about 3,000, not a massive lead here. Most of the players are pretty close. Really the only advantage I'm seeing is nothing. It's BaRRaCCuDDa and BaRRaCCuDDa have a level lead on their opponents.
Big problem for me looking at EnVy right now. We talked about how Fenrir needs to be a lot more early game than Kali and has to be a part of the action and blah, 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 blah. Well, he has under 3,000 damage in total. Looking to make it bigger, but not going to be able to. He's forced to jump away as Snoopy hits him with the blink. Fearless. Mask now down to about 75. Luminosity still giving chase in EnVy's jungle.
So I don't what happened there is Mask actually tries to jump the Lawbringer, but there's actually some frames in the air where Lawbringer will catch you in your jump, and that's exactly what happened. Mask trying to make the outplay, actually outplays himself, and now Omega is just getting poked out, trying to zone out. He's half-life already. A fantastic wall from andinster. Double tap connects. Bye-bye stealth. It's BaRRaCCuDDa with the kill, and now andinster to the back line as well. Omega not tanky enough to zone. It's another pick for Luminosity. EnVy not looking like a coherent team right now.
Very disjointed team fight, and Luminosity forces the organization. CycloneSpin able to pick up Snoopy, but that's likely all he's going to get as the relics are down, the basics are out, and BaRRaCCuDDa takes out the soul. That's 3 dead on the side of EnVy from that one alone. Ugh, EnVy not in a good spot right now.
I mean, this is also Luminosity. This is night and day from their games against enemy. Snoopy is just playing the Omega better than Omega right now. Just this frontline, in-your-face nuisance, just bullying all of EnVy. They can't fight into him, and even though EnVy have been close in experience, everything's been going Luminosity's way. The only 2 players who have died have been Snoopy, just in that last fight, and you could see a lot was burnt on him. And then JeffHindla, he got picked off, I don't even recall when.
Yeah, it's
very early.
It's been a rough fight. It's been a rough fight for everyone around. EnVy, though, only 2 kills on the board. And that's pretty much the story of the gameplay. Luminosity has been able to just extend their lead by picking up these kills and then honestly going for the objectives after the fight.
These CC-driven comps from Luminosity have been brilliant the past two games. There's so many options to force out relics, force out the purification. No one's gone Sanctuary outside of Soul, and they just, that's what they do, right? It's been non-stop. Andinster levels, he maxes Mjolnir's to it. The second someone walks into lane, or even walking past their own red buff like Kiki, it's Tectonic Rift and a double tap. Tectonic Rift and a double tap, and it's just non-stop all game. And then when the fights finally break out, there's so many players on Envy that they're not full health, right? They may not be half, but they've been poked just enough, and they can't full commit. And Andinster just comes crashing down on top of them, and they can't do anything about it.
And that's what they're doing in the mid lane. Andinster,
look at this,
force out the ultimate from Mask.
Mask, full health, almost full mana, and he just ults.
Yep.
Just immediately. He's so scared of getting double tapped and full on committed.
He got landed on by Andy, so ult for ult. Luminosity going to force this mid tower. Stun comes out. And again, Chronos, that's what he does. He also does that. 11 on the board for Luminosity. Still in the mid lane. And Snoopy by himself, but not a big deal. Omega trying to make things happen. Ults, that's a huge situation if his team can capitalize. But Snoopy trying to find someone on the back.
They were taunted out there, 3 members, and look at this, BaRRaCCuDDa left untouched in the middle of 4, finds the stun. He's going to be focusing Mast to snipe in the back line. There goes Stealth, and there goes Mast as well. Double coming out for BaRRaCCuDDa, looking for the third. It's Omega onto Bludgeon. The stun, it's not going to be there, but the last auto will be. Triple kill coming up from BaRRaCCuDDa, and Luminosity are looking good to close out Game 2.
Last one alive is going to be CycloneSpin. He avoids the stun, and BaRRaCCuDDa changes his sights onto the mid Phoenix. Everybody on the side of Envy, they're going to be up soon, so no win. The Phoenix, by the way.
Are we going to talk about that or no?
The Phoenix, by the way, takes out Jeff.
All right, we're going to talk about it. Jeff feeling himself there, yelling at his team for not finishing it off. Kiki going to be chasing, but I'm not exactly sure what he's doing here.
He's just pushing the enemy off. That Phoenix is alive. That Phoenix did not die, so he's just making sure that nobody comes back to deal the last couple of basics.
I mean, they were halfway up the lane. Did he expect to kill a Tyr and a Thor with Mjolnirs? I think they are tilted. I think Envy are tilted right now.
Do you?
Kiki has been called out so much. His build is not tanky. He goes into this Wingblade build, which, while can work, if you are focused, you die. And he's gone into Sovereignty as well. It's not, oh, look at this. Envy trying to sneak the Gold Fury. They're going to get caught out.
Soul runs into Andy, who's just waiting for him. Snoopy does get stunned out, thanks to Mask.
I like the play from Envy. They're so far behind. They have to force something. Kiki forces them the back, but they don't actually back, or at the very least they get to the Gold Fury in time, read that it's happening, and Andinster lands down, and now Gold Fury started up by LG.
And that's the answer to your question. Kiki was just trying to force the enemy back to base so they could open up the window for the Gold Fury. Unfortunately for Envy and their fans, unable to find it. Luminosity, on the other hand, a little bit happier in the bleachers. It's 25% on the Gold Fury. No one's showing up. That's going to extend the lead even more so to 10, just shy of 10,000 gold, 9.5. Wow.
Envy look like 5 players to me. They don't look like a team. It's 5 players playing their own game right now. It has not been a cohesive unit. Game 1, they looked much better, in my opinion. And while honestly, the lead is it's actually about the same. This game, it's just like there's been no cohesion. You mentioned it earlier as well, the Neith ult. We didn't see it for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, the momentum has been in Luminosity. The wind has been in their sails the entire game. I remember specifically, 1990 was the lead, just under 2,000 gold. But Luminosity had won the last, 3 fights, took a gold. Everything seemed to be going Luminosity's way. And if you're sitting in the game, it feels like you're getting crushed, but you're just down 2K. And, that feeling, Kevin, when you're playing at this high level, I mean, that does a lot.
I mean, look at the damage charts, though. 4 members of Luminosity top the boards. Mast is sitting below JeffHindla's damage at this point, and Soul going to be able to do what she can. Looking to finish some big items here. It looks like working on Rod of the Hoodie. When that's done, maybe Soul can make an impact. We've seen CycloneSpin, though, hasn't been able to get off any relevant damage all game.
Yeah, the Soul pick, still not doing it for me in game number 2. Taunts coming out from Luminosity. They want to make the fight happen here underneath the tier 2 tower on the right-hand side. Looking in the waters goes to Kiki. No damage reduction, though, as he takes a huge burst. Look at that. Andy in the back just waiting for somebody to try and flank. Not going to happen, but Envy does play defense well enough. The big Wolf's going to catch somebody under the tower. Snoopy in some trouble. Fearless is out. Takes a couple of hits, and the fight's going to be forced.
That was a lot of ultimates trying to kill Snoopy, but BaRRaCCuDDa going to be put in an awkward position. Actually rewinds back into the team. There's the Neith ult blown up. Really nice pickoff from EnVy there.
Huge pickoff.
Beautiful, because now Luminosity not going to be able to force anything. And honestly, EnVy, I don't think they're going to do this Fire Giant, but they could look to bait the fight and bait players there. That's exactly. All right, I like this decision to bait it. They need to be careful, though, because they don't have vision on andinster right now.
And the last time they tried an objective, Ullr was able to just hail of arrows it down. Andy's around the backside, and no one knows until now when CycloneSpin finds himself, well, very low, almost dead. Andy's looking to follow up with the ultimate. Wants to land on CycloneSpin, changes targets, now going to land in the mid lane. He's low himself, doesn't really want to go for it.
Playing it smart there. andinster almost falling. Same with CycloneSpin, was just about a hit left. EnVy, though, I'm a little bit surprised there. It looked like they were trying to bait the fight, but I guess they were actually trying to full commit to the Fire Giant. JeffHindla, you could see, actually able to just walk in, taunt them for a man. andinster obviously almost falls, but manages to get out.
Yeah, everything worked out for Luminosity. It's mentioned time and time again about how a gank in a lane isn't always for a kill. Sometimes it's just for pressure release. And all right, we didn't get the kill, but that was what happened there. Luminosity didn't get any kills against EnVy, but they just brought the health bars low enough so that EnVy attempting the Fire Giant would be suicide. So they didn't necessarily have to get the kill. They just deal enough damage and enough poke. Andy assesses the situation and goes, a kill versus a non-kill will not change the situation. They're going to get they're not able to do the Fire Giant anyway, so I'm out.
EnVy, they're going to be 5 members strong here in the mid lane. Same with Luminosity. Kiki a little bit caught out here on the side. Once again, Kiki already half life. We've seen this story time and time again. Kiki positioning himself in the front line, but just does not seem to be tanky enough against this Chronos Thor. They've just been putting him at half life before every fight even starts.
CycloneSpin's leading the damage for EnVy, but I just don't feel like it's actually been
relevant.
I feel like
that's because they only have 4 kills. It hasn't. Yeah. His damage hasn't actually resulted in any kills. It's been a lot of stellar bursts into 3-4 people. He gets a chunk off of each of them, but it's not significant enough to bring any individual down low enough for the team to capitalize.
Omega with a very similar amount of damage. I feel like he's had more control over here, mainly because his damage comes after a huge stun, right? He jumps on in, he gets a big stun, Bludgeon wraps around, and he's able to dish out a bunch of what seems like relevant damage, but more importantly, as you said, EnVy has yet to really been able to seal the deal. Different story for Luminosity, as they seal the deal against MLC Stealth. Long-range tap from the Thor. BaRRaCCuDDa, same situation, taking out the dog from a distance, and he's going to keep on keeping on. Flipped over into the team, but there's the rewind.
It's going to be good, and now resetting the fight, you can see Luminosity surging for a BaRRaCCuDDa. Gonna find 2 after taunted by JeffHindla. The snipe is gonna be good. Oh, the damage is good as well. I didn't think it was gonna be there. CycloneSpin takes out andinster in return, but Jeff, another big taunt.
Looking for the damage. BaRRa fighting Cyclone 1-on-1. Teammates join the fray. Now it's 2-on-1. Credit to Luminosity with the numbers. BaRRaCCuDDa gonna look for it over the wall. Not quite. Just go directly towards the Phoenix. Jeff's nowhere to be found. Nah, he's here underneath the mid tower, and it's going to fall down this time around. Luminosity, they get the Firebird for their troubles. Andy takes a spill, but EnVy lose 3 of their own.
They're going to be running back here. Fire Giant, like you said, still available. Still 2 tier 2 towers on each side lane for EnVy. I'd like to see Luminosity try and make something happen over there. But Luminosity right now, let's take a look at the charts. Should be pretty far ahead. 10,000 gold once again, 12,000 experience, which is started to become less relevant as Luminosity. They have a lot of players at level 20, so it's once again going to be, I think, the same story as Game 2, where everything now is it's catch up for EnVy.
But again, it's all about that feel. I mean, it's not all about that feel, but
it's about that feel.
It's about that feel. I mean, that 10,000 gold, sure, it seems irrelevant, but not quite now. There are many items to be purchased on the side of EnVy, and the experience that you were saying, even still, like, you've just been stepped on so many times. It's 17-5. 17-5.
Taunt. Going to be just off the mark, and I was actually wrong. Luminosity, a lot of their players still have an item to finish. BaRRaCCuDDa, most notably, that Chronos has already been swinging top in the charts at 24,000 damage. Soul has found her way back up there, and we did see 2 members of EnVy, or excuse me, 2 members of Luminosity fall. I mean, CycloneSpin's going to be the player. He's got to be the player to help EnVy crawl back into this one, but caught out on the side here. Omega and Kiki trying to find their way into the FG pit, but it's already been completed.
Omega's still very tanky. Fearless isn't going to hurt him too much, and the follow-up damage again, just going to bring Omega down to about 75, maybe 60, so...
We could see Luminosity here not only finish off this tower, but the tower in the left and the Gold Fury. There's a lot of gold and experience on the map that they could finish. The team actually going to back instead. Can we take a look at gold in hand? Yep, it's already up there. 2,200 for BaRRaCCuDDa. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't see them immediately go to Gold Fury.
Sure.
Help complete their builds, but still. Book of Thoth, just full bought for BaRRaCCuDDa. Ooh.
So much damage on this Chronos, and... like I said before, the Polynomicon was a little extra damage. Now, that's a life bar. That is going to obliterate people.
Andinster not electing to back, has only 1,000 gold in hand. Even selling Bumba's only going to give him about 600 gold back. So he doesn't have an item or tier 2 he wants to complete instead. Luminosity, they're going to be sieging up this left-hand side. Only one tower remains and 2 Phoenixes for them to take. EnVy. It's going to be real hard for them to fight into this.
Yeah, Luminosity just coming right on down the tower.
Cyclone has to come up big. He's got Tahuti finished. Now is the time. Luminosity, I'm expecting to see at least either Snoopy or Andinster focus CycloneSpin. Make sure to keep him checking this fight. And if they do, I don't see EnVy stopping this.
Nah, like you said, I mean, it's a late game, and this is really Cyclone's time to shine. And his damage has not really resulted in much, and Luminosity has been a big part of that. It's not like he's playing poorly, it's just that's what's happening. They're dancing around his damage.
Look at this poke come in and out. The siege has started. It's going to be Kiki focused out once again very low. The stun just off the mark, and look at this. Andinster to the back line. He was looking for Cyclone. Strapped under tower, though, is Snoopy. It seems like he will be able to get out, but Cyclone finishes him off, and a little bit too anxious is Luminosity.
So one down on the side of the red team. Already Omega trying to force the fight, make it many more. Stun is strong, but able to find a way out is BaRRaCCuDDa. And no chase given by EnVy. But CycloneSpin blows up BaRRaCCuDDa before the rewind. That damage is certainly relevant. CycloneSpin finds himself with 4 kills in total, 4 2-2 on his slash.
Luminosity way too greedy to try and finish this game. We saw Snoopy go immediately to the back line. Looking to knock CycloneSpin out of Fountain, but Mask obviously just going to pick him up with Ragnarok, keep under Fountain, and while Snoopy was able to get out of Fountain, he was so low. Cyclone finishes him off, and by then the team was disjointed trying to save Snoopy. That was Snoopy. He was flaunting himself, and he paid.
Either way, Lumi picks up the gold. It's going to be a strong feel. And again, this time EnVy pushing down a tier 2 tower.
Honestly, that just let EnVy back into this game. I mean, there's still 2 players dead. Snoopy spawning in a second, BaRRaCCuDDa in 15. EnVy, while they don't get the Gold Fury, that Gold Fury is not helping Luminosity. They were all full builds outside of JeffHindla, who was able to finish off Winged Blade with it. And this is just going to allow EnVy to get back in. They got a tier 2 tower. And honestly, there was only 1 Phoenix taken. The middle Phoenix has spawned once again.
That gold tier was 100% Luminosity understanding. Eesh, we made a mistake. Okay, EnVy can push up. Let's just take the gold Fury away. They'll get the mid tower, but they won't be able to pick up the gold. Like you said, it didn't mean much for Luminosity, but they took it away from EnVy.
Same situation. Luminosity up 13,000 in gold. EnVy trying to finish their last couple items.
Hello.
Luminosity, they need to make this game finish in the next couple minutes before EnVy can get full build.
Andinster in some trouble, gets the Athena ult on top of him, and they're going to deal damage to Mask, and Omega's able to take out the Thor. Stun onto MLC. Stealth is gone. The BaRRaCCuDDa on a tear this game, 6-0-9 for the Georgia native.
The positioning from BaRRaCCuDDa this set has been phenomenal, and now once again, it's going to be Kiki taunted out. Omega, he's going to push forward. He's going to find a multi-man stun. Mast to the back line, looking to finish off BaRRa, but the lifesteal is too good, and now BaRRaCCuDDa is going to turn his attention to Mast. The time rift just off the mark, but he will be able to rewind and reset his health.
Got some cooldowns back as well. Could toss out a stun if he chooses.
Hold.
Opts to play safe. Omega, on the other hand, just walking up that mid lane.
EnVy somehow managed to hold. Middle Phoenix not taken once again. And even though BaRRaCCuDDa opened up that fight with a beautiful, basically solo kill onto Stealth inside that CC chain, andinster falls to Omega, or to CycloneSpin, excuse me, and then Mask just barely able to get out. BaRRaCCuDDa as well got low. This is EnVy. This is a game.
Can we celebrate EnVy for a moment? They have been stepped on, stomped on, momentum on the other team, 15K plus in the lead for Luminosity, and yet they still are able to make that defense against that Phoenix. How many teams could have done that?
Not many. It's only top-tier teams that can really fight back from behind. I think Luminosity is the prime example of a team that can fight back from behind. The old, I won't say Luminosity, I'll say Cloud9. Cloud9 was the best team in North America from behind. They knew what to do. They knew how to split the map. They knew how to give up objectives and then take other objectives across the map. They knew how to trade efficiently when they got in an awkward situation. But now EnVy, I mean, they're holding true. This happened against Thor as well. EnVy, both games behind for a big portion of the game, and then able to come back in that game too and make the set even.
EnVy has defended long enough for their mid Phoenix to respawn. You can take a look at the left lane as well. The lane is well pushed up, and that Phoenix will spawn very soon. So no threat there from the minions, which is always a big threat.
Can we see Golden Hand real quick? I want to see how close Cyclone. Oh, he's nowhere close.
Yep.
Actually, no. I believe last tier of Soul Reaver, how much is it? It's 13.
1030.
Is it 10? I thought
Oh,
that
no,
was
it's 13.
It's
yeah.
13 something. So Cyclone needs about 400 more gold to finish that Soul Reaver. If he can get it. Oh, and look, he's trying to get it. He's trying to solo farm. Luminosity, oh, they were around that corner. They were waiting. I thought they were about to jump. I thought they were about to jump on Cyclone. If Cyclone dies at the beginning of a fight, EnVy has no chance at holding.
Golden Hand now 11, so 200 gold needed. Yeah.
Let him solo farm. All of EnVy need to let Cyclone solo farm and get this Soul Reaver. It is too critical to this next fight.
Yeah, you're 100% on the mark. It's 1030 for the book.
Omega doesn't need this gold.
No.
Kiki doesn't need it. No one needs this gold outside of CycloneSpin. Let him solo farm. But they're 3-man and 4-man splitting these waves. He's not going to have it online. He's so close. If he had one wave left alone, EnVy, they're going to have to try and hold, though. They've been doing it so far.
Poke goes on to the players, not the wave. Doesn't find too many. Snoopy looking towards the back line. He's going to jump right on in, and BaRRaCCuDDa sits on the back.
BaRRaCCuDDa
Combines with BaRRa for the kill onto Omega. But BaRRa's going to find a death as he's plucked, and MLC Stealth hits him with the arrow. BaRRaCCuDDa is still here. Kiki very low. Phoenix does fall down, and Snoopy pushing around the crack. That's Kiki's death. 20 on the side of Luminosity as they pick up players and the Phoenix and the players. 2 for Andy, only one alive, and MLC is not going to protect this. Luminosity find 2 wins against EnVy here on Monday Night Smite.
A pretty close fight this game too. EnVy doing their best to hold out. It was well fought, to be honest. On their back foot, it's very hard when the other team has that much momentum. And even though the gold lead wasn't really massive until about 20 minutes in, a beautiful job at holding out there. And great wins from Luminosity coming up 2-0, big after they dropped the first 2 games to enemy.
Powerful wins against a powerful team. A lot of damage being dealt across the board as far as that's concerned. You can take a look at the stats here and just tons of damage from, well, everyone.
Honestly, Stealth on this Neith, getting bullied. Thor very good at locking down Neith specifically. We're not able to get anything going. You can see only 13,000 damage. Mask as well, sitting at 10k at the end of the game. You could see him become a lot more relevant there at the end, really trying to focus out the BaRRaCCuDDa. We saw him jump in multiple times, but simply not enough.
Yeah, everyone, with the exception of that jungle mid on the side of EnVy. And those are the 2 positions we saw that Andy invited his friend BaRRaCCuDDa to the squad because of the synergy the 2 have, right? The mid and the jungle really have to combine together, and we just didn't see that with EnVy.
So we're going to take a look here at some clips. I believe we'll have First Blood and some highlight plays.
Yep, but for right now, we're going to talk to the captain of Luminosity. It's BaRRaCCuDDa on the horn. Congratulations on your 2 wins, buddy. How you been?
Dude, I'm doing amazing right now. I mean, it's been rough, like especially after dropping those 2 games to enemy. Like that was like a big wake-up call for us. Like not that we haven't been practicing, but I've been going through like some real-life stuff. So we weren't practicing that much like as a team, and that's kind of on me as well as I guess it's just on me because I wasn't able to like be there for practices and whatever. So I'm doing amazing right now, but I've been struggling, man.
Well, you know, obviously, as far as your personal situation is concerned, condolences. But you guys have been turning it around, like you said, able to take out these 2 wins against a huge team like Enemy. Tell me what that means about winning. These aren't just 2 games. It's 2 games against EnVy specifically.
We honestly, I kind of came in thinking they were going to be really good games. I didn't think we were going to 2-0 them because they're all phenomenal players, and like we have been struggling lately because like the season changes, roster changes, and then having to build synergy on top of that, just like a lot of stuff. But being able to 2-0 them is just unreal. I didn't play too well, but
I beg to differ.
We're literally watching your triple kill on a screen right now. I would definitely pose a different situation.
Talk to me a little bit about Hou-Yi. The first week you played on her both games. On her has not been performing very well. I think 0-8. But you go and you pick a Hou-Yi, and more importantly, you pick Shell. Why the Shell over maybe a Sprint or kind of a Sanctuary? What was the mindset there?
I wanted to save BaRRaCCuDDa, and I wanted to peel for him as much as possible and keep him alive because I knew they were going to be diving him really hard. And so I hit level 12 and I backed and I was like, okay, what can I do to keep BaRRaCCuDDa alive? So I picked up the Shell, and I don't think it actually did too much for BaRRaCCuDDa because whenever they dove me, pretty much just died. But I guess it's the thought that counts.
I was just going to say that. It's the thought that counts. Now, as we said, you guys dropped the 2 games early in the first week, and you guys won these next 2 games. Outside of the outside influences, whether it's lack of practice or whatnot, what's the biggest major difference inside the game from week 1 to week 2?
We kind of just know how to play the game. Week 1, we were kind of going in completely blind. I mean, that's pretty obvious to anyone that watched those games. Sure. We kind of look like a baffling group of idiots running around the map together trying to make plays. And we really figured out a way to practice and a way to get better as a team and what we needed to work on, which it wasn't really hard because we pretty much needed to work on everything in our play. So going into scrims, we really kind of buckled down, like started working on picks and bans, started working on strategies, and then all the synergy kind of came just at once, like earlier this week or earlier last week, and we just started clicking as a team, whether it's like shot calls, whether it's team fights. Like we actually started working together as a team, and it was just literally one scrim where we just started destroying, and I was like, whoa, it was kind of nice.
Final question from me here. So far, I've asked everyone this who it's been their first interview. Expectations for this split, right? Are you looking to avoid relegations? Are you looking to sit in the middle? Or are you looking at DreamHack?
I think we're looking at DreamHack, especially after that 2-0 against EnVy. I think EnVy is definitely going to DreamHack. I think EnVy is a really strong team. And for us to be able to 2-0 them, I guess it means a lot for me, as well as, I guess, the rest of my team being able to 2-0, like, just a really strong team. And I really think we're going to be top 3. I don't know where we're going to be, but I think we'll be top 3.
Awesome.
That's huge confidence coming out from you, and for good reason. You guys looked absolutely incredible today. Anything else you want to say before we let you go, man?
Definitely shout out Luminosity. They've been awesome. The CEO has been talking to me a lot personally, trying to keep me spirits high and everything, and that's just been awesome. Nice. And then the fans and family as well. Everyone's just been really supportive, really nice, and shout out to Madman Mark for staying relevant.
I love you so much, man. Much love to you and the family, and positive thoughts in every way, shape, and form. That's the captain, BaRRaCCuDDa, for Luminosity as they celebrate their 2-0 over EnVy. That's going to change the shape of North America standings as a whole. Let's take a look at how those 2 wins wind up.
Enemy coming in at 5-1, topping the charts. Looking towards the middle, we do have that, Denial, EnVy, Luminosity, the teams we're looking at as well. Soar, having only played 1 game so far, but also the only other team to take a game off EnVy.
Yeah, Enemy still overperforming. I mean, this is last year we looked at the same situation, much different story, and you're going to be able to see Enemy if they can keep up their reign of terror against Team Allegiance. And we'll see if they wind up with some wins on Thursday. Soar will continue on against Denial with a different logo, and Luminosity will take on Zapman and the boys of Team Eager.
I thought I thought teams weren't allowed to sponsor 2. I thought Orange weren't allowed to sponsor 2 teams. What's wrong? Moving over to Friday, Paradigm going to be taking on Leftovers, who I believe are still undefeated. No, they lost 1. Hungry for More going to be taking on Torpedo Gaming, and then Cringe Crew will be taking on Team Dignitas.
Honestly, all these games look really good for the beginning of week number 3. Really. A lot of evenly matched squads, and the weekend looking, well, very similar. Panthera takes on Fnatic. Panthera have yet to find a loss, and Fnatic have been trending upward upwards. Paradigm taking on Dignitas as well.
So just to note, guys, Saturdays and Sundays will now feature a secondary SPL match. It's only been the first 2 weeks. It was only a single match, but now that we're getting into more doubleheaders and later into the game, and broadcast will be starting at 1 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. like it has been for the first 2 weeks.
Yes.
Sunday, also EnVy going to be taking on Randozos, and that is the actual EnVy also twice there. They'll be taking on Allegiance as well.
Yeah, they've got a doubleheader on Sunday. Super exciting. And then, of course, Monday Night Smite is going to be Panthera. We'll see if they're still undefeated by the time they take on Cringe Crew with Emilzy and the squad as well. So, honestly, I mean, man, just a personal note. I have absolutely been loving Season 3. The game is so much fun to watch, and I think that a lot of it has to do with how talented our teams are. There's a lot of evenly matched teams, and those are basically all of the matchups we're going to see in Week 3.
Such a phenomenal start so far. We're 2 weeks now completed for the SPL. Be sure to check us out next week as well.
Yeah, if you want any more information about any of the teams or standings or whatnot, esports.smitegame.com, and of course follow us on Twitter at SmitePro. But that's going to be it for us. Week 2 has come to a close. We'll move on to Week 3. For myself, Kevin, all of the commentators, all of the production, and of course, Peckies, we'll see you next week.